What does psychosomatic mean?
Diseases which are caused because of emotional distress on the body. So anything, first affects your energy level, then the mind, then the body.
So psychotherapist, psychologist, psychiatrist. What's the difference?
Okay. So a lot of people ask me this.
You can tell them, you have a physical ailment, here's the medication, they'll take it. You have a mental ailment, here's the medication, they go, oh, wait. We're not taking medication for this.
Installment में जो आप अपनी सेल्फ वर्थ की धज्जियां उड़ा रहे हो वो 2 करोड़ का नुकसान है.
Okay.
2 crore plus 2 lakh, very bad deal.
Yeah.
Rather fuck it to this, don't do these compulsions and face this.
The point which is surprising to me is even someone who was studying psychology, right? And your mother went through OCD. It's not easy to spot even for you.
Correct.
So what chance do we have to spot OCD?
I'll tell you the reason but for that.
Welcome to another episode of the Pineapple Podcast. Some episodes may not need this introduction. I feel like today is probably going to be one of them. Today we get to sit with psychologist and we find out the difference between all those terms. Psychologist Hoori Shah. We hear her journey with obsessive compulsive disorder. We hear how she battled it, how she came out of it, and what is her advice for people going through it. We understand what it means to be mentally well. We understand what it means to balance your masculine and feminine side. We understand what it means to go through something, not understand what you've been through. All of this and more. Stay tuned to find out. Welcome to one more episode of the Pineapple Podcast. Yes, we are still not back in our studio. There is a construction happening on the 3rd floor and there is too much noise. So we're back to the OG studio, which is my house, where I'm sitting. There usually used to be a TV and a chair and everything, but the show must go on. And with the show going on today, we are going to talk a little bit about mental health. And to help us out, we have Hoori Shah, a psychologist.
Psychologist.
Let's start with that. So psychotherapist, psychologist, psychiatrist. What's the difference?
Okay. So a lot of people ask me this. A psychiatrist is a MD doctor in psychiatry who's gone through the science route, and can prescribe medication. They usually won't counsel. They'll take like a first history intake with you. That might be a longer session, but after the follow-ups are very short, where they'll just see how you are doing and give you the medication. A psychologist is who has done arts, who has done a MA in psychology and will do therapy or maybe teach if there is an added qualification called NET, which is National Eligibility Test, which I have. And they'll do roles like counseling, like teaching, like various therapies, things like that.
And
psychotherapist. So psychotherapist and psychologist is used interchangeably, but the radical difference is that many psychotherapists are trained in specific types of therapies, like maybe a specialized rational emotive behavior therapy or like a CBT. So they specialize in one particular type of therapy, and that's when they call themselves a psychotherapist, primarily in the US. But here it's used pretty interchangeably.
So,
Go
ahead.
So a counselor will also say I'm a psychotherapist, or so it's very interchangeably used here.
So where does Dr. Phil fit in all this?
Dr. Phil.
There's this, on TV persona in the US who has a talk show and talks about talks about a lot of psychology stuff, and people go pay him a lot of money and he gives advice.
Okay.
Almost as if he covers the whole spectrum.
Okay.
So I'm just wondering.
TV show hosts who
no, but he's very well followed.
Have you heard of Dr. Phil?
I've not heard of him.
So random.
Dr.
Phil. She's explaining psychology side. What is Dr. Phil?
Where does
everything
Dr.
has
Phil
to be reality show for you?
Fit into this? That's what I.
Well, I'm not sure of his qualification. Otherwise, I would have been able to tell you.
Okay, second silly question. I got the first one checked out. For those, when people think of psychology, they watch TV shows, and there's this 1-hour session. You sit down with the doctor, and he or she listens to you, and you do most of the talking. And then at the end of 1 hour, they'll ask you a very pointed question, and then they'll say, "Think about that. We'll see you in our next session." So where does this role fit in the 3 titles you put in?
So it can happen in psychotherapy and psychology both, right? Because that is a question which is leading to further exploration, which basically happens in a counseling session. So this can fit in over here. A psychiatrist will most likely not do that.
Psychiatrist is the one who
gives you the
subscribes
medicines.
Okay. Okay, so a psychiatrist is not the person who sits down and has these dialogues.
No.
Okay.
They will have very short sessions, just assess where you're doing. They're doing more symptomatic treatment, let's put it that way. They're looking at your symptoms. Oh, there's anxiety, there's depression, there's OCD, there's intrusive thoughts. So they are treating those symptoms. Whereas I'm glad this came up. And in a therapy session, what are we doing? We are understanding the cause of why this is happening. What was the childhood trauma? What was their life story? What was the genetic disposition that they have, right? What started? When did it start? What have their coping mechanisms been? There is a lot more exploration, and we are dealing with the cause, right? So medicines give you symptomatic relief. I'm not a fan of medication, but sometimes you do need to take that. I have also taken it when my OCD was at its worst, like when I lost my father. So for a month, I was not sleeping. And that was a time when I had to take medication, right? It helped me to participate in therapy so medication basically is like reducing the volume of your thoughts, of the feelings, which helps you to participate better in therapy when required. But it is not a solution. If you're not going to do your inner work, you're going to depend on medication for a long time.
You yourself had OCD?
Yes. I have a lived experience ever since I was a kid.
Ever since you were a kid? Is that why you became a psychiatrist?
No, not at all. So I think like psychology chose me. I didn't choose it. I came with my 10th result. My parents were not very invested in the academic process. And just neighbor was doing, and I said, oh, this is my result. What do you think? She said, oh, there is this psychology. It's all about human behavior, emotions. I said, I'm very interested in this. What is it? What do I do for this? She said, just these are the colleges. Go and enroll. I went to Mitibai. I went to Jai Hind. When I went to Jai Hind, I saw these smart students in their raincoats were giving out the forms, assisting the professors. I said, "Aisa banna hai, yahan jana hai, yahi jaungi," and that's how I decided. But of course, when I enrolled for the course, and the teachers over there, with due credit to them, they were so passionate, and I think the interest just went on developing, and then that became like the primary focus. But I joined arts for doing psychology.
When were you diagnosed as having OCD? Or were you ever diagnosed as having OCD?
Yeah, 100%. So again, another interesting question which will help the audiences, because despite studying psychology, I thought I was just having anxiety about studies, because my first theme was about studies. What will you have a daughter, 6-year-old daughter. What will you do if she is very interested in studying? Will you think she has a problem? No, you'll be happy. Wow, what a good kid I have, right? So I was compulsively studying. My first OCD was with studying. So if I had a book when I'm eating, when I'm using the loo, when I'm walking, wherever, all the time. The only time I didn't have a book when I was sleeping or when I was bathing, because obviously the book would get wet. So that was my first theme of OCD. Then I thought in my graduation year, it became so bad. I thought I'm going to give up my studies. I do not want to clear. I gave it up. Universe had different plans that year. The examination changed. The timetable, the usual norm used to be 6 papers, 6 days. It became 6 papers, 6 weeks. So there was a gap. So I said, chalo, pass hone ke liye padhte hain. Pass to ho jayenge, graduate ho jayenge, right? And I gave, and I topped that year. So I said, okay, I've topped, maybe I'm not so bad. Now, just imagine this kind of self-doubt. I've been topping all these years. I've been on the scholars list in Jai Hind and all of that. So I joined masters. And they start with probability and statistics. And I'm like, math, phobia of maths. I cannot do maths. I'm going to fail. I failed once in school in maths. And I dropped out. I didn't tell anybody. I took my admission off. I dropped out. I took a sabbatical year, traveled, went to Vipassana, went to Osho, did a lot of other travels. And then I said, nahi, aise nahi chalega, karna to padega. Then I rejoined masters. Yet the OCD of studies came back. 2 years were very terrible. So answering your question, the themes kept changing until I was 28. I was diagnosed 10 years ago. So despite my mom being diagnosed when I was 21, when I was in my master's second year, one day my mom started behaving like an alternate personality.
Suddenly, out of the blue?
Absolutely suddenly. So my father in that time was quite modern, and his friends were also very educated. So he took her to a psychiatrist when she started showing some symptoms which for the so-called normal people, say normal nahi hai.
Right? What are these symptoms?
She was crying, she was not getting out of bed. She would not want to do the daily chores. She would not be able to even button our shirt. Our schools were changed from very good schools. We were put in average schools where our relatives' children would go. So Dad took her at that time, and he went to one of the best doctors. I will not take names, and she was misdiagnosed as depression.
Misdiagnosed.
Okay. From the best doctors. The entire family was doctors, and for so many years until I got educated, she was having depression pills, 15 pills a day. You cannot imagine
Depression
what
pills?
that does. Yeah, the
Okay.
psychiatric medication. That was like 15 pills per day. And it has slowed her down. Like today, she's great now, like after I found her the right doctor and all of that. So cut to the day when she was behaving like an alternate personality. I was in my master's. And I said, this is not working. And luckily by then I'd started knowing people from the profession, found her a good psychiatrist. He diagnosed her. I can still remember the day she was diagnosed, her pills were weaned off, she was put on OCD medication and she stopped having intrusive thoughts. She said, Hoori, I'm able to eat without a thought. Otherwise she would be scared. I'll eat, I'll get the thought and food will get stuck. So that is when mom's journey started, when I was 21. Yet my anxiety was about studies. So I thought I'm just a high performing individual with anxiety, right? There are so many high functioning adults around us who have anxiety.
In my mind, OCD means
Cleaning.
clean and
Order.
and yeah, everything should be ordered. But
Correct.
the way you're describing, your mom's not able to button a shirt, that doesn't sound like OCD for me. So clearly, I don't know what OCD means. So just
Correct.
what is OCD?
No, so that's not OCD. That was one of the outcomes of the wrong medication, is what I was referring to, which had put her in a vegetative state. But OCD, let me explain the basic of OCD and the varieties that it can come with, because OCD definitely is not cleanliness and order only. Yes, that may be one of the most popular themes, but there are variety of types. So firstly, OCD is obsessive compulsive disorder. Let's assume that there is a false alarm in our brain, which catches anything. Okay, so let's say my false alarm may catch right now that Krishna's looking at me like this, maybe he's judging me. That
Okay.
could be an obsessive thought that I get. This could make me anxious, and the compulsion that I might do could be to seek reassurance from you that Krishna, is everything okay? Are we doing it right? Am I speaking something wrong on camera? Because this would give me immediate relief. So there is a vicious cycle that we get stuck into. There is an obsession, leads to anxiety, leads to a compulsion for immediate relief. Now the problem with that is we keep doing this and the fears become stronger, because every time we give in to the obsession, it says, oh great, this person is getting scared, so here's my client, let me scare him more. And they're going to scare you more and more and more. Just how bullying works, right? If you get scared of a bully, they're going to bully you more. So OCD is a terrible bully. But because of your own chemical imbalances, usually caused by, some neurological reasons, which I'm not getting into right now.
Okay, so just gonna add here, is there something called good OCD versus bad OCD, right? So for instance, I have a relative who is a cleanliness buff. I mean, if he sees anything out of place, he cleans. It's pick and span. So in the long run, whenever I go to his house, it's pick and span. His wife loves it, right? But then I'm told that he's OCD. And he doesn't seem to have a problem with it because the place is pick and span. So good OCD, and going by what you said, it may be, it may be compulsive. He needs to do it all the time. But from an outsider's perspective, it's working out well. So is there a problem here in this case?
Okay, it's an interesting question. Let's say that it's great to have somebody with OCD as a spouse or an employee, because they take this hyper responsibility to do everything perfect, right?
Yeah.
But it's not good for that person. If I had a remote control that controlled you and I kept you in control all the time, would it be good OCD?
No.
It would not be. So there cannot be anything called good OCD. OCD is terrible. When my OCD was bad, I remember talking to members with who had OCD too. And there would be one common thing we all would say, dushman ko bhi na ho. It is so bad, it is so debilitating that we would not want anybody to have it. Today, when I look back at those years that I had, I cannot imagine that was my life 10 years ago. In fact, the maximum recovery that I've had has been in the last 5 years. After I found my therapist, we started doing our exposures. I took medication for a while. I could cooperate better with exposures. I faced all my fears. And it's not like I don't get those thoughts, but now I'm able to use my techniques to resist those and do the compulsions and stay in check, right? And talking about the types, cleaning is one type, order is one type, symmetry is one type, but there is also something known as harm OCD, where you may get a thought that what if I harm Krishna, if you had harm OCD, or what if I hurt myself, what if I'm going there to, probably check my mic and there is a fire. So there could be harm OCD, there could be sexual OCD where you get intrusive thoughts about how sex is a sin, or that you're hurting somebody sexually, or you're doing something immoral. Then there is relationship OCD where you may doubt whether you're in love. You may seek reassurance from your partner and actually drive them away because you seek so much of reassurance. So there is relationship OCD. There is checking OCD where you might have heard, that is again very common. बार बार दरवाजे का लॉक चेक किया, स्टव का नॉब बंद है या नहीं चेक किया. So OCD can manifest into a lot of types. Now I'll tell you something from some of my cases. Yesterday I had somebody with a repetition OCD. He would want to repeat reading every line, every word, and he would finish an essay in 50 hours and so had to drop out. Another person I spoke to yesterday had an OCD which was superstitious OCD, which said that अगर ये मोबाइल का स्क्रीन है which is a rectangle shape, अगर आपने ये वाला कॉर्नर देखा है तो आपको इमीडिएटली ये कॉर्नर देखना पड़ेगा, ये कॉर्नर देखा तो ये कॉर्नर दिखेगा, and that is interfering with his functioning. So there can be a lot of subtypes. The types I have had personally, first it was studies, then it went to infections because that's contamination OCD. It went to insects, it went to, oh, it's not going to rain and we are all going to die. And I would compulsively check the weather. Okay, what's the prediction for the entire month? Is it 30%? Is it 40%? Is it 20%? Oh, it's not there for 15 days. Then is it there in the next month? I would sit and calculate it. I would drive myself mad completely. It was really, really horrible. So my heart really reaches out to anybody with OCD.
And this is 24/7? During your waking hours, you're always doing this?
It depends on the severity. Like this case, like I told you, that 50 hours have gone in an essay, 24/7 for them, apart from the time they are sleeping. But the person I said who saw the corners of the phone, not 24/7, is still in a manageable job. Correct?
Is this genetic? Because you're saying your mom also had it.
It's in my family. At least I know. I do not know about my mom's generation. My Nani's two sisters had mental illness. I do not know the diagnosis. Their all children have some or the other manifestations of different kinds of mental disorders, but not OCD. Mom has OCD. I have OCD. My niece has symptoms. My aunt has symptoms. And mind you, everyone is very intelligent, working, and OCD. People with OCD do have a certain amount of high intelligence, is my observation. I don't know if there is research to back that, but that's been my observation.
So you said your niece has symptoms. What are the symptoms?
So she will, I'll give you one simple example. Now her type is right now not very specific, but I can see the patterns across. So there's something known as OCD personality, where you may not have a full-fledged disorder of one type, but you may have a personality, and our family genes have traits. So for her, let's say she had to clear her cupboard. She took 3 days to clear the cupboard. She had to remove everything, arrange everything, was not able to let go, because hoarding can also be a part, one of the symptoms, and still she could only let go 10%. This is one type. If she has a fallout, so she loves films and she sometimes works as an AD. Someone said something. That fear of judgment, someone said something, that obsessive thought went on. The anxiety took over. Now the compulsions will be guilt tripping, overthinking, breaking down the situation. Now a normal person also does that. A regular person. I would not say anyone is normal, everyone has some or the other glitch. A regular person will also do it. But what differentiates is the amount of time, energy, dysfunctionality that it brings to your life, which will qualify for a diagnosis, right? Like when I was studying, when I had OCD with studying, I had a boyfriend then. I stopped meeting him for the last 3 months of my exams. You see, this is dysfunctionality. I will not meet you, I have to study. Though meeting him would have given me some freshness, to go back to my studies and all of that. I said, I will not meet you. I'm going to only study. 24 hours only study. That's
only
not
study normal. Because you had a fear of failure.
I had a fear of forgetting and failure. Failure. So I would keep reading, and for the whole day I would just be reading and studying. So yeah, those kind of fears. Though I was a top student. Now no rationale could fight OCD. That you've been topping bachpan se, what is wrong with you? Are you not going to remember or pass? It sees no rationale, which is why a lot of therapists and at the cost of sounding whatever, I am saying are not trained to handle OCD. They give you a lot of techniques for anxiety, like, breathing and this and that. But OCD and anxiety requires a certain skill set or certain specific techniques because it's just so nuanced. And which is also why I also did not get a correct therapist. So, I remember I used to tell my mom, all my clients are doing well, they are doing better. When will I get a good therapist for me? Why am I not getting? Why is God not giving me? And mom would say, don't worry, jiska pehle ka life acha nahi jata hai, aage ka jata hai. As she got her recovery and she started living a better life at 50. Right? So,
why couldn't the same therapist who helped your mother help you?
Okay, again, good question. Sometimes that may not happen. So I did go to that doctor. But the medicines he gave me tremendous side effects and only sedation. My prolactin levels went up and I started getting symptoms.
What is prolactin level?
So it's a hormone basically, which basically is more active during pregnancy. I literally started having tenderness and milk started oozing out of my breasts as if I was pregnant. That kind of hormonal fluctuation happened. So a correct doctor, a correct diagnosis, all of this also to find is very, very hard.
It's unique. Are you saying that even though you had the same genetics as your mother, most probably the same physical characteristics, same blood group as your mom?
No.
Different blood group, okay. And you had the same condition. You had to be specially treated by someone else basis chemical reactions which to the medicines being given for mental health.
Yeah.
Chemical reactions for a mental health disease.
Correct.
Wow. Okay.
And this happened with me twice and I did not know better. It was very hard. Today also it is very hard that when someone says that, can you give me a psychiatrist? Can you give me another therapist? Because maybe someone, my sister comes to you, I don't want to come to you. Sometimes it can happen. I find it so hard कि मैं किसके हाथ में दूँ. मैं ऐसा नहीं बोल रही हूँ कि अच्छे थेरेपिस्ट नहीं है या अच्छे डॉक्टर्स नहीं है. But it was so hard to find the few for me. So when I tell him my therapist is a male who's in his 50s, they don't want to go because he's a male. So once my therapist told me, Hoori, you have a better hand because you're a woman, you're younger, you have experience of 15 years backing you. I studied when I was in my 40s and I'm practicing only since 5 years, though my work is good. So though I would trust him and give a client to him and he would do the same to me, but it is so hard to even be able to refer. So just imagine as a therapist, I found it took years to find the right therapist. Imagine what the common person
What was the difference that your mom's therapist and this therapist did?
Mom didn't have a therapist. Mom had a psychiatrist straight up, always. Mom was like at 50, she didn't want therapy. She wanted some quick fix like most people want, that's why they go to a therapist. So mom went to the doctor. I took her to that doctor when she had this whole reaction of an alternate personality. I said, nothing doing, now I'm taking this in my hands. Found the right doctor through some good friends I had that time. And luckily she was diagnosed and treated back then. And sorry, I missed your question.
So your mom was given medication and she recovered.
She recovered to a good extent, but her behavioral patterns still are there today. You see, because she's not worked on herself.
The side effects which happened to you happened to mom as well?
Honestly, I can't say that with clarity. Reason, imagine the withdrawals she must have gone through when recovering from 15 medications.
Right.
So to assess the side effects, I'm not too sure.
Okay.
So I cannot say that with full confidence on that part. I went through bad side effects twice with the same doctor I went. And again, it's not about the doctor. Everyone's trying their best. But for me, what worked is when I was 28, I was newly married. That was my first marriage. I got remarried recently. And it was bad. It was quite bad. That's when somebody told me about this homeopathic doctor. I went to him. Now, this doctor was an allopath who later realized in his mid-30s only that allopathy is not helping too much. It's suppressing the clients.
What's the difference, allopathy and homeopathy?
So, allopathy is, it's more like obviously those are the pills you pop at a surface level, at a physical level. In homeopathy are those sugar pills, alcohol-based solutions, medicines. But the key difference is allopathy treats one symptom at a time, right? You have a headache, you have a medicine for headache. Homeopathy is more constitutional medicine. It looks at Krishna पूरा इंसान कैसा है, इसके traumas क्या हैं, इसका personality कैसा है, इसको बारिश अच्छी लगती है या धूप अच्छी लगती है.
So it assesses you mentally as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It takes your holistic, history and then gives you constitutional medicine, and it is said that it increases life force, which is the prana, the breath on which we are surviving. So I went for homeopathy, where someone told me that, oh, I know somebody who came out of depression with this doctor. He diagnosed me. Simply knowing that label was like half battle solved. I was like, अच्छा, मैं इसलिए ये compulsion है जो मैं करती हूँ, मैं पागल नहीं हूँ, मुझे ये होता है. Then I started understanding and seeking help and all. Still, it took me some more years before finding my therapist to help me with OCD. So struggle is real.
The question I have is, for OCD, is the science still new? Because we've been hearing a lot of OCD, me probably, over the last 8 years. It's bubbling up everywhere. Before that, it was kind of like a term which not many people knew. So there's this thing, this is something new. And where I'm coming from is, medicine, right? So I'm not sure about, people you've met, but the folks in my generation, okay, let me quantify, Gen X, Gen X, not Gen Z, right? Who are in their 40s. You can tell them, you have a physical ailment, here's the medication, they'll take it. You have a mental ailment, here's the medication, they go, oh, wait, we're not taking medication for this. This is something else. We'll go do yoga, we will go for a vacation, we'll talk to someone, but we are not taking, the whole idea that taking medication for mental health for this generation is like a no-no.
Correct.
But so, what's your take on this? Do you see this happening a lot? Or how do you convince somebody this age group that medication is not bad and OCD is not something which was there yesterday? It's been there all this time, but we just didn't realize it.
I think people are very open to the idea of understanding that it is OCD because it gives them certain light onto what is happening, like it happened with me also when I was 28. Medication, I think there is no age that is particularly resistant, because like I had somebody yesterday who was just 27 and I said, why have you come to me? You seem to be doing pretty okay. He says, I want to go off medication, so I want to do the right thing, take therapy, work on my symptoms and then not take. I think it's a mix. There are a lot of senior citizens who want only medication because we can't do the work in therapy. So please don't tell us what to do, just give us the easy way.
When you say work in therapy, what does that mean?
It means working on all your issues to start with. So now there are two parts. When someone comes to me for OCD treatment, I look at OCD symptoms on the surface, which could be contamination, order, relationship, whatever. I also look at their entire life story. And when I look at their life story, my understanding over the 15 years of my practice has been that a lot of psychosomatic issues or psychological issues happen when as a kid you've gone through a lot of things, life feels out of control. And OCD is a disorder of control. You want to be in control, you want to be certain, right? You want to be certain that this is to be in order, otherwise kuch bura ho gaya to, right? So I work through their symptoms OCD wise and also childhood. Now all this requires work. OCD requires facing your fears systematically, doing your exposures. We do ERP, which is exposure and response therapy. What we do is, suppose I am scared of a dog. My exposures will be listed out. Like first just see a photo of a dog, then just see a video, or maybe just a GIF, then see a video, then a real dog but with a leash, just from a distance, then maybe go near them at maybe a 5-meter distance. So systematically it goes up. And this is ERP. So with suppose someone with contamination, I had a client with contamination, I take I'm a little filmy at heart, so I took the filmy route. I said, "Ghar pe baith ke mat baat kar, office up." I took him out for exposures. He was so scared. He could not keep his hand on my desk because I don't sanitize my desk. Because what if a fly came and sat, and the fly sat on somebody's feces and it came on your desk and I'll be contaminated and I'll fall sick. I said, let's start. Let's put it. We started slow. I gave him techniques to ground himself, calm the anxiety, then move on to the next goal, to the next goal, to the next goal. We are work in progress. Last week we went to Juhu Beach. We bought a lace packet. He could not eat a lace packet without wiping it. We bought a packet on which a fly was sitting. So we did 2 exposures, the fly and the packet, which he would not have. And he was having a bad panic attack on the beach. I said, no problem. After that, I took him to a cafe which was run by children with Down syndrome, Cafe Arpan in Juhu. The love overpowered the fear. I said, इसके बाद तू सितारे ज़मीन पर देखने जा, फिर घर जा. हो गया, अभी मैं जा रही हूँ ऑफिस वापस. So I'm a little unconventional also, but I have to practice standard psychotherapy techniques also. So ERP, and then processing their childhood through a lot of techniques, releasing. So, you know, your body remembers everything, Mario. If you've touched that cup, it will remember it. Okay. So your body has memories of, let's say you said you're in your 40s, 40 years.
50s.
And the memories carry an emotional weight. So last week I had a client who had a breakdown. She said, 2 of my friends, they gaslight me, they don't listen to me. I said, okay. We worked on boundary setting and all of that. After the session, right after the session, she messages me, I'm so sorry to message you after the session, but I'm having a very bad panic attack. I said, no problem. Just list out whatever you're going through. Maybe some memory has gotten triggered. Memories of bullying in childhood surfaced. When she wrote them, processed them with the techniques I'd already given her, then that day she could not get out of bed. So much came up because your body remembers everything. And hence I also combine some sort of meditations and all which help, active meditations by Osho, which help you release those. So when you say work, it's a lot of work of your life, your other issues. See, I tell my client, मैं तुमको बुके दूंगी. तुमको ये चीज़ पे काम करना चाहिए. चाइल्डहुड ट्रॉमा है, OCD है, असर्टिवनेस है, बाउंड्री सेटिंग है, एंगर है, स्लीप है. तुम देखो तुमको कौन सा फुल चाहिए और कितने चाहिए या सारे चाहिए, वो तुम डिसाइड करो. तुमको कितना आना है वो तुम डिसाइड करो. फुल फ्रीडम. मेरा काम है बताना, मिरर करना. That I do. So that is the work.
So how much of these bad memories are triggered by instances you didn't give closure to when you were small, right? For instance, being bullied or something bad which happened.
Yeah.
It's like a hanging thread and you just slept over it, you just buried it.
Correct.
And your body remembers, like you said. And so something very random, like what happens, you get into an argument with someone, and then maybe that part of your memory, it's like you throw a fishing rod and then you pick something up and all of a sudden you're like, oh wow, you know, the whole emotion. So how much of this is connected to humans burying their emotions, and at some point of time it comes back, and now it's just that one form is OCD?
I'm not sure if one form is OCD, but I can say that traumas can trigger the genes that you have for OCD.
Okay.
Right? So
trauma can trigger the genes you have for
OCD.
Okay.
So let's say you have genes for OCD, I have genes for OCD, and Mario has. Okay. But you've had a happy childhood, everything. So things are okay. Maybe your brother was sent, he loved cricket and he was sent to some cricket association. He quit his studies. He did not go the academic route and he went. And he was bullied over there. Maybe he developed OCD, you didn't. You know, it can happen. So traumas can trigger. It's not necessarily that always a trauma will trigger it. But I'm just saying, to answer Mario's question, a trauma can trigger OCD. I'm not sure if these stored memories can come out as one form called OCD. And so if your brother had it, now in my case, the first boyfriend I had was when I was in college. And this guy suddenly says, oh, I'm out of love now, I don't think I can continue. And that hit me. And that was one of the worst OCD phases I had. Then another theme of OCD had developed with certain types of insects when my sister lost her husband. So there was a major life change where she came in and we were living together. So we were 3 of us, mom, dad, me. Now suddenly she came back with 2 children. We're 6 of us. I am uprooted from my room. I'm living in the balcony. I can't call my friends anymore because there's no space. Everything changed. So there was another theme that got triggered. So another stressor, mild stressor that was going on around some insects that was happening in a school I was working became a new source, a new theme of OCD. And then everywhere I would go in hotel rooms and everything, I would find that. Then traveling became a problem. So what I'm trying to say is that trauma can trigger OCD at first, and it can also lead to more themes of OCD. Like at different traumas of my life, I did develop different themes. Once I had a very bad eye infection. I had lost sight in my right eye. It had become hazy, like there was a white patch on my cornea, and OCD started with infectious diseases. I was like, and they said it's viral. It's not a bacterial infection. People get those pink eyes and they're done in 3-4 days. This went on for a month. I was isolated, living in my balcony. By then my sister was back. And 1 month of that trauma of being isolated, not going to work, not doing anything, having to stay away from the family members who are in the same house. OCD is already on, so I'm totally scared कि किसी और को भी घर में हो जाएगा, उनका भी ये हो जाएगा. खत्म. New theme was ready. I was newly married in the first marriage. There was a water problem. OCD got into that. A big life change, a new marriage, new responsibilities.
How old are you when this is happening?
I'm 38. Then I was 28.
And you had not yet been diagnosed as OCD?
Yeah. Or I had just been diagnosed, I think. Or probably not diagnosed. Within that time frame only I had gotten diagnosed. So you can imagine the life story. It will take 5-6 podcasts to cover. So
no, that's fine. I'm just, the point which is surprising to me is even someone who was studying psychology, right? Even, and your mother went through OCD. It's not easy to spot even for you.
Correct.
So what chance do we have to spot OCD?
I'll tell you the reason but for that. My mom had pure O. There is a type of OCD which I forgot to mention, which is pure O, which means there are only obsessive thoughts. There are not active compulsions. So certain thoughts keep ruminating in your head, which are beyond your control. So mom had that type, and hence to understand that as OCD was not clear. Secondly, to be very honest, college जाके हम कुछ नहीं सीखे. Masters करके तो बिल्कुल नहीं सीखे. In our masters, in a place like a Mumbai University Applied Department, our HOD did not even come into our class in the second year, which was the year of specialization. Seniors आते थे, कुछ भी पढ़ाते थे. So I'm telling you, I learned nothing. Masters, I learned nothing. College, I learned a lot. Jai Hind, I love, I respect. Today also my teachers are in touch with me. So what I really learned was on the job. My first, I didn't get a decent job for a year, like absolute average pay, yahan jao, wahan jao. After a year, when I got 3 jobs, I signed up for 2. I was taking lectures in the morning in Jai Hind. I used to leave my house at 5:20, take the 6:30 lecture, be there till 11, go to Satkar, have one idli, run to my school. 12 to 5, work with children with special needs as a behavior therapist. Knew nothing about it then. But my director felt, Hoori, you seem to be someone who will learn and who knows the job. By then, because 1 year I didn't have a job, I was working with a lot of special needs, teaching them art. So he said, you know these children. I started that job, I learned on the job. And then is history. Learned everything on the job. So, trust me, college जाके नहीं सीखा. We were left on our own. Library जाओ, देखो, जो भी है, book लो, पढ़ो. क्या syllabus है क्या? कुछ नहीं पता.
So
हालत खराब है.
You brought up this topic about some time ago. You brought this topic about if he sends his brother or something to a cricket academy and he gets bullied, and then he could develop OCD or different manifestations. Now, use the phrase bullied, right? So I'm just going to dig a little deeper on this, because in my time, bullying was something really different. And today, bullying is something which is not the different kind of bullying which I knew to be.
It was harsher when you were a kid.
It was harsher too. So I can tell you, I was scarred. I was really bullied badly in a very in a foreign country. It went on for years until I called my dad to college once, and then it stopped. But it went on for years. But I was alone then, and there was really no one to help, and you came out of it. So I didn't develop OCD, at least I think I don't, based on the definition you gave me. And I don't find any other manifestations apart from every now and then some trigger, but the trigger is rare. It's not frequent, right? I mean, and today maybe I look back and I laugh back at it and I say, I had a rough time. I moved on. And the people who bullied me, I'm still friends with. We connect, but I kind of moved on. So where I'm coming is, and I know this may be slightly linked to the topic which we were talking about, psychology, not entirely, is the whole act of bullying, right? Which could cause all these manifestations. There are people from my generation, I won't say me, which says that this will make you a strong person. And the ideology is, what you see people, they say, oh my God, people are making a big deal out of bullying. No, bullying helps it toughens you up. And today's science says it's wrong from so many angles. We shouldn't encourage it. As a medical professional, what's your take on this?
It's been 4 years I started my own company, Happiness with Hoori. And that gave me a chance to work more in depth with clients, which a job does not allow you, because unfortunately, our job, the demand is more than the supply. right? Here you're doing one-on-one and you're doing justice because you're sitting 1 hour with the person and giving them your all. So, sorry, I lost my chain of thought.
You started your own company.
Yeah.
Bullying.
So,
this bullying makes you stronger.
Bullying makes you stronger.
Yeah, I got my point. So, across the years of my work, I'll tell you one thing that I've understood is everybody's core problem is self-worth. Okay, where does self-worth come from? It comes from all these experiences. So what you're saying that, oh, bullying makes you stronger and this and that is also challenging your self-worth, right? Like, matlab, main strong nahi hu if I cannot take this.
Yeah.
Correct. So I think it's very, very harmful because a low self-worth is the cause of most problems, which stems from your life story and traumas. When you don't feel good enough, you can achieve. I've had people who won, I will not name, but won awards in their respective fields or my clients, and they don't feel good enough while starting off a new project. Where is it coming from? A client of mine probably had a life where the parents separated and was brought up by an aunt. Alright? And so felt like a burden on the aunt and the grandparents. And so still today keeps people pleasing and compensating. So to answer your question, it is extremely damaging and of course it is wrong. It is like, it's a black and white question. It's absolutely wrong. And now, according to me, I feel a lot of my clients benefit from understanding boundaries. From bullying comes the concept of understanding boundaries, which I feel is extremely important. In fact, I'm going to take a workshop on boundaries for Youth Alliance very soon this month, because we don't set good boundaries and that leads to more problems and more self-worth being lowered. From low self-worth comes people pleasing, lack of boundaries, lack of assertiveness, seeking validation and approval, overthinking, scanning people's expressions, whether they are being judged. So many compulsions. Lending people money and not asking for it is such a common problem.
Yeah.
Right? Apna hi paisa mangne sharam aati hai. So bullying, I feel, is absolutely wrong. And it's very important to understand boundaries. I often get asked this question, is it okay to set this boundary? I say it's okay to set any boundary. Whatever makes you uncomfortable is a boundary for you. And you can set it with whoever, wherever, whenever. You can also set a boundary in retrospect. So if I feel you wronged me 2 years ago, I can still come. You mentioned that I'm still friends with them. I have a question about it. Are you really friends with them? Do you have no resentment towards them? Does meeting them sometimes not give you this question that I wish I could tell them? Over to you. Are you absolutely over it and okay with it?
Okay.
Are you?
No.
So that means a boundary has not been set.
Yeah.
That means that there is a fear of confrontation. That if I confront them, that may not be.
It better not be me you're talking about.
So it's
this self-worth thing has made me think a little bit, because you said one sentence is at the end of it boils down to your own self-worth.
Yeah.
Is self-worth, and you're saying self-worth, so I feel like I'm answering this question. Is self-worth determined by me, or it's determined as a consequence of the experiences I've had with other people throughout my life?
So I say till 18 it's not determined by you, but after 18 you're responsible.
That makes sense.
Because obviously as a child you don't know, you're probably seeing your parents fighting, you're probably seeing a neighbor doing better, you're probably seeing your father telling you that I wish you could be like him. So it's not determined by you. But after the 18, I say you're an adult. Just because 18 is our age when legally you're an adult, that's why 18, no other reason. It is time that we take responsibility for our feelings. So many times I'm asked this question, so at least if this person is putting me down, I can take it personally, right? I said, no, you still can't take it personally because that is their limitation. You taking it personally is giving the power of your emotions to them.
This is so powerful to hear, because you're one of the first few therapists I'm speaking to who's used the word responsibility. And in my mind, I feel that's missing in a lot of the people I've spoken to, because and I thought you were going in that direction initially. When you said that you can set whatever boundary you want, in my head, I felt like that's giving people an excuse to not do the work. Yeah, this is too difficult for me. This is my boundary, don't cross it. But you are changing it now by saying, no, boundaries are there, but it's your responsibility to be an adult now and realize that these boundaries it's up to you to set those boundaries, but you can't be stupid about it.
Correct.
Yes?
Correct.
Now, how can someone start being responsible? What are some preliminary steps? So, for example, some most common thing you'll see online: get sunlight, maintain a journal, eat healthy, get some exercise. Are these yeah?
Before this, I just want to, can I close the topic?
Yeah,
Because
go
we're
ahead,
going off a little bit, right? So before this, let me give you a case. Now, let's say I meet, let's say and this is, for everyone who's made list, let's say I know I'm going to have to talk to somebody who's a very nasty person. Very nasty person. I know because I've seen him and not him. Yeah. And I know that if I speak to him, there's a possibility that he's going to start cracking jokes, stupid jokes, annoying jokes.
100%.
Not. Forget it.
Certificate.
And it'll make me uncomfortable. What are a few ways for a shy person, maybe not, who can tell that person directly or indirectly, this is the boundary, don't cross? How would you do it?
Sure. Actually, there is so much to say in everything that you said in the last 2 minutes, both of you. But I'm like, okay, I'll say this now, but okay, it's already gone here. Okay, I'll answer your question. I think it's very important to first understand, why does this person trigger you?
Hey, stop pointing at me, yeah.
It's not him.
But I already certified it's you.
The other jerks out there, believe me.
Yeah. Why?
She's also pointing. Why does this person bother you?
You said you judge everybody, so.
But आप certificate दे रहे हो यार. सब लोग सच्ची में सोचेंगे मैं bully हूँ.
So, firstly, it's important to understand why this person triggers you. This person can remind you of somebody who in the past has probably done, or maybe you have certain experiences with this. Ask yourself, what is it that they trigger inside you also? So if this person is being nasty, I go to swimming. So there's this girl who, she's like kind of like showing off after every class. And, oh, it was so great. I did so well. And I was getting irritated. And my husband doesn't get affected by any such personalities. He's like a Buddha. And then I ask myself, okay, why are you getting upset with her? She's not telling you, she's not talking to you. I probably in my head tell myself, you are not enough, she's enough. She's doing the class so well. I came to that conclusion when I asked myself this question. So ask why, okay? Now that will give you an answer of how you want to, what is the content of your boundary going to look like?
Why am I getting irritated by this person? Yeah. I'm getting irritated because maybe in my mind, I'm not as good a swimmer as this person. Very nice, yeah. Okay, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
So I took responsibility. I said,
again, very nice.
I said, boss, tera problem nahi, uska problem nahi, wo apna maza kar rahi hai, tumko kya hai? So now, I follow 3 steps of assertiveness that I give my clients as a technique. Number 1, empathize with the other person. Because 100% the person has their own limitations, we all do, right? Secondly...
No, how do you empathize? Okay. I've heard this a lot.
So does it mean putting yourself in their shoes? Empathy is doing that?
Correct.
That's it? Just think from their point of view?
No, not just think, even articulate it. Okay. So when you empathize with them, a simple format could look like, I understand you are feeling dash, you label the feeling. It could be a guess also because of dash. If you don't know the feeling and you can't even come up with a label, just say, hey, I understand you're probably going through something. You can at least say that, right? It could be a very generic line that can be okay, right? If Mario says, Hoori, why did you sip my tea? Say, okay, I understand you may have not liked it. And then the second thing is to tell your point nicely, but yet firmly. So saying, Hoori, I would have appreciated if you would have asked me before picking up my cup. Correct. Third step is come to a midway if possible, only if possible being the disclaimer. Sometimes it's not possible. Maybe Mario has OCD and gets triggered if I touch his cup. And he does not want me to touch his cup, right? So, or maybe it's his favorite cup which his mom gave him and he will not share it with anybody. So there is no midway here. So you can tell me that I'd appreciate, please don't take this. It has some sentimental value to me. So I would appreciate you not taking that cup. That belongs to me. So empathize. What happens with empathy is, it makes the person less defensive because you understood them. So they're a little open to you. And that's why empathy works.
In my experience, and please tell me if I'm doing it wrong. In my experience, what happens is whenever I set a boundary and I tell someone, yeah, you could have asked me before you did this. The typical response is, yaar, main karunga hi nahi, chodo. Tum apna karo, I'll just stay away from you. Like they take it to an extreme.
They take it personally.
Is that normal or have I done something? Have I not empathized correctly?
That's absolutely normal. You empathizing, this brings to a very beautiful point. You empathizing does not mean the other person is going to feel very happy about what you're doing. But that's their responsibility. Yeah. Let their feelings be their responsibility. At least आपने बोल दिया तो आप present तो नहीं करोगे.
Your feelings are your responsibility.
अपना निकल गया ना भाई.
Yeah.
तुम अपना ticket लेके चलो. दूसरों का responsibility मत लो. But again, because of low self-worth, we tend to take that on us also. So we become hyper responsible for their feelings and then internalize their feeling as if we have done something wrong and engage in a mental compulsion, which is self-doubt, guilt tripping, etc. So that feeling
even if they feel like we have been hurtful, if we don't think we've been hurtful, it's absolutely fine.
Not from the narcissistic point of view, but if you've been like continuously practicing boundary setting, you'll understand that you will disappoint a lot of people, but a lot more people will respect you for your boundaries. Don't you find somebody attractive who is confident, who sets good boundaries, or you find those people attractive who are meek? Right.
Yeah, that's a fair question.
Right. So you'll attract more people, and you will also attract more healthy relationships. What are all these therapists making reels about? Oh, childhood trauma, you attracted a red flag. What does that mean? It means you've not worked on something, you have a low self-worth, so you're okay with anybody and everybody, and you're allowing the abuse. That's what it basically means. You know, which is the very common content that you'll see on Instagram.
So why does that? I've always been curious about this. Why? I'm not trying to make it look like I'm some saint and all, but why is it that a lot of cases of abuse is men being violent towards women? Why? I don't see the point. I don't see the pleasure in it. I don't see what kind of a relation. I don't see the healthy relationship you're going to have with your wife.
Correct.
If you're going to be violent.
Correct.
With anyone, with your kids. My dad used to hit us when we were kids, so we would be very scared of him and we would never cross a particular line with him.
Absolutely.
Then when he stopped doing it and he started talking to us more and became much more friendly with her, the relationship completely changed. And it was a very different dad I had in the last maybe 15-20 years of, like the first 15 years of my life and the next 15 years of my life. Very different dad. Right? And that's how his dad was. I'm guessing in that generation it was very normal. And I have never hit my daughter, and I don't think I will. At least thus far, she's been very nice. When she decides to be like Mario, I don't know what I'll do with her.
So that is allowed.
No, but what
Mario, set your boundaries, you have a chance. Tell him, I don't appreciate this.
What is the temptation to be violent, especially between men and women? That since you said this red flag thing, why is it that men find pleasure in violence to women?
I can't be sure, but like there is generational trauma. This could be like a cultural trauma because patriarchy exists. There are a very few, like in Meghalaya and all, in northeastern states, it's a matriarchal culture. There a woman is allowed to have 3 husbands. There's a culture in northeast. So there it's all matriarchal. There the girls will have more property and all of that. So probably, but patriarchy is more common, right? Across the world, it's more patriarchal, right? Today also the girl goes to the boy's house after marriage. So I think it could probably just be understood by cultural trauma, like there is generational trauma, like you said. And a part of the cultural trauma is generational trauma, right? You said dad ke dad ne hit kiya, dad ke dad ko unke dad ne hit kiya. So it's a process.
Did you know this about the Northeast? Women can have
No,
you're not going to sleep properly tonight. I already see that in your eyes. You're like, how is it even possible?
Why would I want to go to I'm happily married, thank you. So abuse from one wife is enough. No, I'm joking. She does not. I have to give that disclaimer.
You mentioned why is it always that abuse happens between two opposite genders?
I don't understand it. So it just doesn't make sense to me, because what pleasure can you get from it?
Correct.
It doesn't. There must be a reason you're doing it. There must be some pleasure, something you're getting from being violent. Are you feeling a better self-worth? Something.
That in general, yes.
Yes.
But since your question was about the gender, I said that, it could be cultural trauma passing on. 100%, because you feel in control. You feel like the power dynamic rests in your hand. And power and control always feed self-worth. So that definitely is a yes.
So is it because you've not had control when you were younger?
It can be, say, bullies can be victims themselves. They could be bullied in the past, right? Like in a hostel. Every year, this is happening. I had some client, I can't remember, who told me, I enjoyed the ragging phase. I knew it was just fun. In my head, I'm like, either this person is evolved, either he's bullshitting himself. I don't know which one right now. And it was the first session, so I don't go into too much sensitive until that rapport is built. But no, yeah, I mean, it's, I genuinely think it's a self-worth issue. You feel more in control. That power dynamic is always there. But it's counterintuitive, because good self-worth comes from a more secure space when you don't need to be in that control. See, what does the essence of every spiritual discipline say? At the end it says, do your best and leave your best, which is the essence of the Gita also. You have a lot of Mahabharata and also I think I can quote that. Surrender. security comes from surrender. कि जो मेरा है वो मिलेगा, मैंने अपना कर्म कर दिया है. That is where happiness lies. But we think happiness lies in control, and then all these problems start coming.
You know, finalize what you said. Control, right? There's control of your own affairs and control of yourself and your thoughts, right? But ragging and bullying crosses that line, right? You're trying to control somebody else, right?
Absolutely.
So there's no justification for that on any angle, right? So I'm just wondering how this whole thing about bullying and
so let me piggyback on
empowerment, right? Making you a strong man was carried across generations in something good. It's just that now you're calling out this bullshit.
I'll piggyback on his question a little bit. In my mind, if you are good friends in a men's group, and some women also, in fact, no, it's a friend, doesn't matter on gender. Now that I think about it, I have women also who do this. If somebody is acting stupidly, we bully them by making fun and laughing at them and say this is a wrong way to act, don't do this, this is stupid. And we bring them back into the socially acceptable circle, not in a negative way. So for example, someone has decided that they are going to try a very different style of clothing, let's say. Initially, we're going to make fun of them. And if they are strong enough to take it and be like, no, this is me, I'm going to continue with it, like, okay, go for it and continue. But we'll still make fun of them. Ribbing them, making fun of them, that's part of the friend circle that we have. And in my mind, most of us don't take it very seriously. Now, is that bullying or is that harmful?
He's targeting me.
Yeah, because very honestly, I make a lot of fun of him and he makes a lot of fun of me.
Correct.
That's just when he makes fun of me, it's not on camera, that's all. But it's very common and we make a lot. And even in this group, right, a lot of us banter with each other. In my mind, it's healthy, we're just bantering. There's no, it's not personal. It's banter and we laugh it off. Is that bullying or is that just a healthy way of developing a relationship?
I think it really depends on how you all are taking it. Like I said, my husband doesn't get affected. He's like a Buddha. He's the quiet one in the group. So sometimes he gets bullied. Sometimes no, I think every time the group meets, he does get bullied for being the quiet one. I see it as bullying. Could be because of my own triggers, where I am not liking that behavior by his friends. Now, these are the closest friends and they're wonderful people. Okay, I dote on them personally, but I don't like the behavior that they have.
Log podcast dekhenge.
So I think, dikhne do. I am extremely candid and I'm unapologetic about who I am. If I can say on camera that I've been married, I've been divorced, I have OCD, to ye to matlab kuch nahi hai. So, point is that it really depends on whether that individual is comfortable, right? It can be banter where everyone's taking it light.
How do you know if someone's comfortable?
Honestly, I think if you are emotionally intelligent enough, you can see whether the person is liking, not liking. You'll see maybe the person is avoiding plans, maybe not coming, or maybe coming, maybe enjoying, maybe laughing it off.
Physical signs, yeah.
But I also, again, going back to the responsibility, it is very important to take that responsibility and to speak up for yourself. That we are great friends, but this I don't appreciate. I have a client who has a friend and he keeps saying, "Tu bahut overthink karta hai, tu bahut overthink karta hai." Once he said, "Ke, I know one girl for you, wo bhi bahut overthink karti hai." He thinks it's fun. This guy doesn't like it. He has spent a lot of time talking about him in therapy. So, not healthy.
So sorry to cut you, one of the problems I see in this whole angle of people not speaking up is the fact that you're just intimidated by this person, right? I mean, I want to draw boundaries, but I'm scared. I'm intimidated by even telling him there is a concept of boundary in my life. That itself would, I'll see another, salvo from him hit me across, right? So how do you handle intimidation when a person arrives at the table already feeling intimidated?
Okay. Nowadays we are living in a virtual world. So you can do a text boundary. You can do a video boundary, call boundary. But it's important to at least make a start.
Okay. What is a text boundary?
Leave an SMS that, "Hey Krishna, I came today for the podcast. I didn't appreciate you just gave me limbo pani. What is
fine.
this?"
Yes.
Text boundary.
Fine.
So,
different mediums.
Instead of confrontation, at least start somewhere.
Yeah, start somewhere, because I understand it's very hard. That's why you're not doing it, right? However, you also have to ask yourself, what is the worst that can possibly happen? Now see, I give this analogy for my clients with OCD. 2 लाख का नुकसान है और 2 करोड़ का नुकसान है. 2 लाख का नुकसान शायद होगा, शायद नहीं होगा. 2 करोड़ का नुकसान डेफिनेटली हो रहा है. So by the virtue of possibility and the weight of the loss, you will obviously choose this loss if you have to choose.
Yeah.
Correct? Now this person will attack you when you set up boundaries may or may not, 2 lakh. But every time you are getting suppressed, you're not setting a boundary, you're resenting, you're guilt tripping yourself कि तू बोलता नहीं है, you're blaming and victimizing in your head. Installment में जो आप अपनी self worth की धज्जियां उड़ा रहे हो, वो 2 करोड़ का नुकसान है.
Okay.
2 करोड़ plus 2 lakh, very bad deal.
Yeah.
Rather fuck it to this, don't do these compulsions and face this.
Okay.
Right? So it's very important to sort of understand. So when somebody comes in therapy, now there's a difference between a therapist and a friend also, right? Because ये nuances समझाना, ये techniques समझाना, examples देना, to break it down at their level, all this happens in therapy. And this is a very, very big difference. So I hope that answers your question, that start slow, but start. Because you are only leading to more suppression. And I love Gabor Mate's work, and I will quote him on that. There's a beautiful book called When the Body Says No. I love that book. I have given it to so many clients who've gone through so much in their life. It's the role of emotional suppression in psychosomatic diseases. So many psychosomatic diseases happen because of
just for the
suppression.
benefit, what does psychosomatic mean?
Diseases which are caused because of emotional distress on the body. So anything, first affects your energy level, then the mind, then the body. Okay, तो यहाँ तक पहुँचा मतलब तुमने नहीं एड्रेस किया है, you've missed out. Okay, so psychosomatic diseases can look like symptoms can headache, backache, migraines, constant migraines, constipation, acidity, for starters. I know clients with severe control issues, females who've developed endometriosis, which affects their ability to then have children, regular periods, things like that. Again, go on hormonal pills, again band bajao of your emotions. Doesn't it? So it's extremely important to look into the mind. The day my OCD is low, the amount of things I get done and the energy I have left for more is so different from the days OCD is bad.
How do you know you're having a bad day versus you have something you need to go speak to someone?
Consistency. If I had too many days feeling bad, then it's time.
And what would be a good number of days? 4, 3, 5?
Yeah, let's give it a week at least.
A week you're not feeling yourself for at least a week.
Yeah.
You should go out and speak to someone.
It's affecting your functionality. You're not feeling motivated at work. You're losing interest in things you usually like. Your favorite food is made, but you don't really enjoy it or don't want to eat it. You are binge watching. You're doom scrolling continuously, spending too many hours doing that, avoiding your problems. These could be the current symptoms, like in the current day and age.
And this is a symptom of?
These could be symptoms of underlying mental health distress, that there's something you're dealing with, but you're not looking at it. Right? There could be times when you're looking at a lot of therapy reels trying to therapize yourself. That could also be an indication.
Yeah.
There could be, you're like calling your 2 AM friends and ranting the same thing again and again. So all these are like good signs to, if you're consistently doing it, once in a while you'll all call your friends and rant. That's all right. If you're drinking too much, if you're smoking up too much, if you're gaming too much, if you're enjoying online poker too much, if you're addicted to porn too much, there could be so many signs. Anything that seems off, which is used as an escape, you're escaping. And I think we're very smart as a generation. We know we're escaping.
When you're escaping,
we need to be honest with ourselves.
If you are trying to escape too often, that's a sign of something underlying.
100%. And you don't need to have a big problem to go to therapy. Like I have many clients who, like there's a stream of psychology called positive psychology, which means that you may have dealt with most of your problems and now you want to become a better person, a stronger person emotionally, have a better EQ, a better spiritual quotient, emotional quotient. So people come for therapy to even just become better after they're better. Like just better individuals. Maybe they want to develop resilience. Maybe they want to develop consistency, more discipline, more motivation. They want to be more courageous. So
one of the most common things that I see on Insta for mental health is wake up early, get a lot of sunlight, eat at the right time in the day, and that's enough for your mental health. Now, first of all, is that true that solves a lot of mental health issues, or rubbish, not true at all?
So what they are actually saying is keep your serotonin in check.
Okay.
All the medicines basically that deal with anxiety, depression, work on this happy chemical which we need is serotonin. in today's world, we are very high on dopamine, which is the reward chemical. You'll do 10 podcasts, you'll be happy with the amount of views, you'll crack a big deal, you'll be very happy. That's the reward chemical. That's being high on dopamine. The problem with dopamine is it does not sustain. So it's like a drug. Aaj doing 5 tasks gives you this much dopamine. Tomorrow you'll need to do 50 tasks after 1 year to get this much dopamine. But serotonin, it is what gives you long-term happiness that stays, that sustains. So vitamin D from the sun or leisure, meeting your friends, all this boosts serotonin. So it is good. But is it enough for mental health? No. It can be complementing mental health because that is not going to resolve the inner issues that you want to resolve. But it can be a great complement to mental health. A lot of people, they follow holistic methods when they do not want to take medication, but they are going to therapy, but they are probably taking a magnesium supplement instead of medication for better sleep, or they are doing all these activities which keeps them in a good balance. It will support your journey, but it's not the cure, is what I'm trying to say.
So, trauma in your childhood, which you're not even aware of, right? You're doing all the basic things, sunlight, heat, you're running podcasts, you're friends with Krishna Subramanian, all the great things in life you're doing, you know? But you're not even aware that you have suppressed something.
Yeah.
How would someone who's watching right now, who probably in their head feel like, no, I don't have any mental health issues. Even me, maybe even I have suppressed something and I'm not aware. What are some signs I can keep an eye out on?
So you will see occasional signs. Occasionally something. So I take an example of a small X sign and a very big X sign. Sometimes, let's say Krishna made a joke today about something and I really didn't like it, but it was not even about me. That means the small X has triggered something inside me. And if I'm smart enough and if I'm listening to this podcast, I can catch myself that something was off. Something triggered me. That means there is something inside which is gone deep down. If you sit with yourself, your body, as I said earlier, remembers everything. All the memories are there. And if you sit enough, it's like a pot of memories. You're sitting and giving it space to open, and slowly you will let it surface. A lot of people say, I don't want to cry in front of other people. Mujhe nahi rona hai. It makes me vulnerable. All their life they've gone on suppressing. So when I give them certain objective techniques to journal and write, they say, मुझे नहीं याद आ रहा है. हुआ है बट मुझे नहीं याद आ रहा है. मुझे उसकी फीलिंग याद है, मुझे इंसिडेंट याद नहीं है. I say sit. It's a 1 hour writing technique. Sit for 45 minutes. It's followed by 15 minutes of a certain type of music to wrap up the feelings so that you do not sort of transfer them into other areas of your day. So in those 45 minutes, if you don't even end up writing, say, more than one incident, it's okay. You gave space to your subconscious to open up. That's enough. You sit next time. Eventually, it will all start opening up and coming to you. But there is, see, anyone telling me I don't have a mental health issue, it's a myth. Okay, I had a client who was running a very big company. When he came first time, I said, इसको तो कोई issue ही नहीं लग रहा है, बहुत normally बात कर रहा है, सब कुछ बड़ी practically handle कर रहा है. As I got to know him, I realized इसने अपने masculine side को इतना overpower कर लिया है कि इसका feminine side बचा ही नहीं है. हर चीज practical, हर चीज logical. Now you may ask what is wrong with it. It was creating problems in his marriage. It was creating, the wife was not able to connect. The wife was a complete feminine. He was a complete masculine.
What does it mean, masculine, feminine?
Like, if you say that I'm all practical, I can crack jokes all day. If someone, sort of teases me, I can just take it head on. And, I don't feel anything. That probably means you're not in touch with your feelings. Okay. That is your feminine. The feminine is the emotional side, the sensitive side, the creative side, the nurturing side. The masculine is more the mathematical, the logical, the technical side. You've seen an image of Shiva. It has both.
Yes.
Right? It has both for a reason. It embodies the masculine and the feminine. We all have it. Now, he's been having his own scars, his bullying. He shows his more masculine side, a feminine side. Because that sensitivity is there, that lot of emotional turmoil is there. You may put yourself as the macho if you are saying that you may have suppressed.
So, do we portray it, or is it something that just naturally, I don't know about me itself, so I'll ask a general question. Do people intentionally give more credence to their masculine or feminine side, or is that a natural reaction?
No, naturally. It's organically what happens. See, like for me, I had to be responsible ever since from my childhood.
So naturally you're more masculine?
Naturally. I'm more alpha.
Okay.
I am an alpha female because mom was in bed, dad was not very involved, sister got married when she was 18, she had a love marriage, came back with 2 children, raising them also. responsibility के अलावा option नहीं था. So masculine took over. So today, over my husband, I have planned out our insurances, our mediclaims, our, whatever retirement plans and everything. He doesn't have to worry. Plus OCD helps to be more organized.
So how do you now balance your feminine side?
Music, creativity, dipping in nature, taking breaks, taking more serotonin, right? So, but I do feel I'm equally feminine as a person, but I feel I need to tap onto that more. I need to allow that to come out more. I need to be okay with delegation more. I need to let people make their mistakes and be like, okay, you do it even if it's not perfect or you forget doing it. So I have to reduce the masculine and improve the feminine.
How would the other way around? Sorry, just one second. Yeah. The other way around. If I know, I won't take their names. I know a few men who are a little more effeminate than they should be.
Yeah.
Right? More in touch with their feelings, crying more easily, but not very aggressive as men, don't take enough responsibility. What advice can I give them? That look, it's fine to be in touch with your feelings, but you also have to, how do you get in touch with your masculine side? Feminine side is going nature walks, journaling, music, all that. How do you get in touch with your masculine side?
Okay, you can, again, now this is just randomly what is coming to my mind. We can ask one question that, what are the responsibilities that I shy away from?
Okay.
What are the challenges I shy away from? Is there something I've been wanting to learn that I'm not learning? So what happens is then you can again start developing an exposure list towards those tasks and start building onto that. Have you seen the movie The Intern?
Yes.
I love that movie. Why do I love that character? This old fellow. He's so charming. I have a crush on him because he is a balance of both. He has a soft side, but he can be very firm when he wants to tell Anna Hathaway that, you know what, you should credit this girl who's working for you. You know what, I don't appreciate this.
When he walks up to the guy who's drinking, like...
Exactly, the driver, right? That scene. Or when he is telling Anna's husband in the movie about he's caught on to the cheating part. I really like that balance. I think that's attractive. That's really, really
So that's a good case study for someone who's balanced their masculine and feminine. Sorry, go ahead.
So, I just want to hop on this because you just pulled out this topic out of the hat. There is masculine and feminine in all of us. So this is a big takeaway because, I just mentioned that as a joke, but then, when you said, the movie, Boys Don't Cry, right? The tag itself can be so distracting and so, I see a lot of men being uncomfortable with this. What do you mean boys cry? We don't cry, right? So that whole idea that for a man there's this thing we were brought up with that we have to always show the stronger side, and connecting with our emotional self makes us weak, and somehow now it's come to be termed as the feminine side. So I don't know whether maybe phrasing it, the feminine side, could be off-putting to a lot of men, whereas if you say me being in touch with my softer or emotional side will be a lot more digestible for a lot of males or alpha males. I feel more alpha males. I don't know why I even brought this topic up. But you mentioned it. So the first time I'm hearing somebody say that, men should be in touch with both of their sides. It's only then when you find balance. And men who are not in touch with their feminine side or the emotional side eventually end up in a lot of complications later on. Okay. But that's the side of men which I've been brought up with and told that this is the
I don't think that's true, because see, I'm answering for you, but
who I've been brought up.
I don't think I'll tell you why I don't think that's true. Because in my mind, the feminine side is more creative, right? And I've seen you on stage. You give fantastic speeches. You can't do that without creativity. Tell me if I'm wrong, but usually it's the feminine side which is way more creative, and the masculine side is way more logical, practical. No need for creativity. This has already been done. No need to rehash the wheel. Do it this way. The feminine side, no man, I think there's another way to do this. Let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. And we are trying to balance that. So in my head, I don't think that's true of yourself. You're fairly high on creativity.
Okay, that is personal. That he is in touch with this feminine side. But what's your exact question here? You're also saying, are you talking about the label?
Is it a stereotype among people today? This is a stereotype. See, because you're speaking so clearly and you said you're very candid about it, right?
Correct.
You said there's a masculine side of me and a feminine side. And now I'm like, okay, now it makes sense, right? But a lot of, and I'm generalizing now, a lot of men, if you go up to them and tell them, are you in touch with your feminine side? They're like, huh? What did you just say?
Correct.
What feminine side? But then if you say your emotional side, maybe it becomes more digestible to them for all the history which has been assigned with the two different sexes and how different they actually are.
Possible. Some may take that better. If you're talking about labels and how they affect, you can simply use your right brain and left brain. Why even get into those words? Correct? Because one brain is more logical and one brain is more creative and emotional. Just say maybe your one brain is more dominant. How about getting in touch so that your the integration is better, your full potential is being used, and just your one side is not getting dominated. That makes it more neutral. You're not using any side, you're not bringing in gender, you're bringing in the brain, which everybody has, left and right.
So if you are more masculine as a person and you want to make sure you're connected to feminine side, be a little more creative, music, get in touch with nature, those kind of things will help you. Feel you're a little more effeminate, you want to get into your masculine side, ask yourself a couple of questions. What challenges am I trying to escape from? What responsibilities am I avoiding? Those answers will help you get in touch with your masculine side. I think this is quite an easy takeaway. Very easy way to at least beginning steps for mental health.
Or what are the things my spouse does which I wish I could do? Could be one question. Maybe my spouse is paying the bills, running around, taking care of the accounts of the house, getting the groceries, whatever. So it's basically about knowing what is it that you always wished to do, but you thought you could not do because you didn't have the courage and you had to put yourself in a shell. Again, I'm not stereotyping and saying that females have a certain role.
No, I noticed. You said masculine and feminine. Correct. You didn't say male, female.
Yeah, and what I'm also saying is masculine, feminine for a female also has to be in balance and male also has to be in balance is what I'm saying. So let's look at it like a left brain, right brain approach to make it simple and not have labels. See, labels don't help, but labels are important to understand. Like when I was labeled with OCD, a homeopath that I had before, the final homeopath who helped me, never labeled me, never told me. I kept asking for a label. Why do you want a label? You have anxiety, you work on it. But the label solved the puzzle for me. So labels are helpful, right? If you don't know whether you have a fever or a headache and I just give you a Crocin or a Dolo, then how is it going to help? Right?
Yes.
So I think informed consent comes there, and you need to be making a more informed decision, right? Based on, and that will come when you know your labels.
Okay, I want to ask you a topic which is very much related to the line you're in. You told me exposures, right? Now, exposures, is it one of the ways you can face your fears or face these, what's that word you use? Manifestations, right? Or head on. What's an exposure? I've heard you use it.
So exposure treatment is not related to only OCD. I give exposure to everybody who has anxiety. In fact, I've said this in another podcast that having OCD is a blessing because understanding how it works and treating people has helped me help all my clients with anxiety. Because the same technique works. So I'll tell you what is an exposure. An exposure, the treatment is called exposure and response prevention. You're exposing yourself to what you fear and preventing the response of an older habit. So for example, if seeing an authority figure leads to the compulsion of avoidance, you're exposing yourself to an authority figure and not avoiding and facing them. Maybe you start with a very simple thing, so you have to do it systematically. So it has something called a systematic desensitization. So you are desensitizing yourself from slow to moderate to difficult as per whatever the topic might be. So for example, you may just greet an authority figure. That could be a simple exposure. Next time you could ask them how their weekend was. The highest can be ask them for a promotion. Or higher than that could be you confront them over something you're upset about, what they said in a meeting towards you. So you could do it systematically.
What if what actually triggers you for the authority figure is when they raise their voice and use their position and their background to just drown you out and intimidate? How does exposures help here? I mean,
okay. So again, here a simpler exposure can be listening to those voices in a virtual environment, like maybe watching a video where somebody is speaking very loudly and has that kind of persona, maybe from a movie, maybe a scene. You can do it in a safe environment with a therapist, because then the therapist can teach you how to ground yourself back. You're conditioned. See, it's a conditioning. Okay. For example, if once I came to your house and you broke a glass in anger, I am scared. Mario means angry. I've conditioned myself, right? But for me, I have to now break this conditioning. So you are upset because of your memory and the emotions. It's an emotional charge that got associated with Mario.
Yeah.
But I'll have to now again expose myself to Mario in a good environment to break this. Correct? So it is this conditioning. So when you are saying that this voice triggers you, your body is conditioned to give an anxious response. Now, if I show you a video clip of someone talking like that and teach you how to be calm in that presence, I'm breaking that conditioning.
Okay.
Correct? So your chances of being successful when you go and greet this person who supposedly gets angry but won't get angry when you're greeting, right, can then become the next step instead of the first step. First, I told you can greet, but if you're scared, this person may snap. Start virtually. Start in a safe space, right? You understand what your body is going through. Where are you feeling the anxiety? So you can have like a toolkit, decondition yourself and then charge. So again, that's where therapy can help, to break this for you.
Good answer.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic answer. So there's two parts to it. So one is confronting the part that makes you anxious, but second part is resolving the typical behavior you would have in that situation.
And you can do it virtually, right? You can do it step by step. Yeah. You don't have to just arrive at the...
Correct. Like if I ask you to send a mail to that person asking for an impromptu leave, even if the person is not in front of you, it will be scary for you, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Right? Because you will be scared that later after they leave, what will happen? But right now you need that leave very badly. And then what will you do? You'll suppress yourself, make it to work even if you are unwell, and re-traumatize yourself. It's not even happening. So even such things become part of exposures is what I'm trying to say.
So, sometimes the toughest people to take these actions are the folks in your own family.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's easier for me, that friend, I'll meet him once a week or once in 2 weeks so I can plan this. But then sometimes it's the people you're going home to on a regular basis and it becomes so uncomfortable, right? When you know you're going to get a reaction, you don't have enough time to plan. And the worst thing is, will these techniques work with somebody who's seen me for the last decade or so and know that I'm trying out something new?
So, it is any technique requires consistency.
Yeah.
So great, if you have the bullies at home, practice with them every day. Initially, they won't like it. They will increase their behavior to subdue you. Just if you have a disturbing thought and you counter it, the thought is not very happy and it'll give you a stronger thought to bounce back and put you down. In the same way, the lovely people in your house will also try to overpower you when they see they are losing power. But you'll have to develop a certain resilience. And so here, as I explained the OCD cycle, your obsession is what if they do this, what if they do that. So I give a fuck it technique to my clients. Ask what's the worst case. Fuck it, they'll get angry. They'll throw you out. They'll not talk to you. They'll leave you. They'll abandon you. Yeah, I was abandoned by them once in childhood. That comes up. Okay, so let's work on that first. Worked on it, got that out of the way. Okay, now, fuck it, let them abandon me. I am in my own skin. I'm okay with this. ये पकड़ के चल रहे हो ना, नाउ ये एटीट्यूड रख के फिर से सिस्टमैटिकली बाउंड्री सेट करो ना. इनके साथ भी इनको भी डोज दो, बिकॉज सडनली तुम तोप बन के आओगे तो उनको भी नहीं जमने वाला है. तो इनके साथ भी धीरे धीरे करो. इट कैन स्टार्ट विथ टुडे आई वांट दिस दाल टू बी मेड एवरी टाइम माय ब्रदर्स फेवरेट दाल इज मेड, बट यू हैव नेवर टोल्ड व्हाट दाल यू वांट. स्टार्ट देयर. That no one is going to come with a talwar at you. Then go to the next thing. That next time when you go to this, can you get me my vegan milk? Go to the next thing. Then go to the next thing. I would want the remote right now. थोड़ा medium level trigger. अगर आदत नहीं है trigger मांगने की. Then it can be, I would respect it if you lower the volume because I'm trying to prepare my speech for Toastmasters tomorrow. तो बुलिंग के साथ भी वही सिस्टमैटिक डिसेंसिटाइजेशन, कंसिस्टेंसी बहुत जरूरी है एक्सपोजर्स में. आज अपना डर फेस करके आए, बड़े तोप बन गए, खुद को डोपामिन दे दिया, 1 महीना कुछ नहीं किया, कुछ नहीं होने वाला, पीछे जाओगे, वो नहीं होगा. So
consistency.
When we talked about the people who are not aware they've suppressed, you said Chota X and a Bada X. Bada X क्या था?
Bada X is the accumulation of all the memories. So अगर Krishna made a joke and I felt terrible and it was not even aimed at me, that is the Bada X अंदर trigger हो गया है. वो छोटा इंसिडेंट ने मेरे अंदर का मेमोरीज जगा दिया है.
So this word that you're using, trigger. So anytime an emotion is being triggered, is that a flag for me to introspect and find out
100%.
why did this?
One of the things I always tell my clients is that for those, especially those who are not in touch with their feelings. So I have a lot of people who will not talk in therapy, will not know what to talk, and they really struggle. And the biggest struggle for me is to help them to get to the point of what they want to talk. They know they have a problem, but they are not able to tell me what. They know कुछ हुआ है लाइफ में, फ्रेंड ने बोला यू नीड थेरेपी, बट मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा है, बट मुझे ये ट्राई करना है. सो वन ऑफ द फर्स्ट थिंग्स, यू नो व्हाट आई गिव देम इमोशनल व्हील. आई सेड एवरी डे ना रात को जस्ट टेल मी विच 3 फीलिंग्स यू फेल्ट एंड व्हाई. नेक्स्ट सेशन इतना ही खाली बताओ, उधर शुरू कर.
It's powerful.
फिर सेकंड स्टेप जाते हैं कि आज दिन में तेरे बॉडी में किधर किधर मूड ऑल्टर हुआ, वो खाली पहचान. द बॉडी ऑलवेज गिव्स यू अ सिग्नल. द माइंड कैन लाई, यू कैन टेल ऑल इज वेल, ऑल इज वेल. Body will be having palpitations, your stomach will be twitching, your hands will be sweaty, you will be shivering, you will be shaking one leg, you will be breaking one nail. I break my nails when I'm anxious. So my husband caught on to that and he made me stop that. So we all have physical symptoms. So the second step is identify आज दिन में कब mood alteration feel हुआ, disturbance feel हुआ, तब tap करो what was I thinking. I ask one powerful question. In that moment, what is unacceptable to you? Suppose we had a glitch in recording and I was a perfectionist and I would be like, ये हो गया, अब कैसा होगा पॉडकास्ट, अब तो डिस्टर्बेंस हो गया. There's a disturbance that has already happened here. So I need to ask, what am I not able to accept? What am I trying to control? It's a powerful question. I want to control that the podcast comes out perfectly and people really like it and they think I'm good enough. You get your answer. So first start with connecting basic emotions. Emotional vocabulary क्या है? उनको label, everything is bad, everything is sad. उसके आगे पता नहीं. I had a okay week. How are you? Fine. Okay, good answer. Aage. Fine is not an answer. Fine is the most fucked up answer, if that language is allowed. So, starting with the emotional wheel, moving on to connecting in the day. Then, when they start connecting, they'll say, I had a call with my mom and she was forcing me to bring something from the US to India for the relatives. I didn't like it. So, I just avoided her call after that. I snapped at her, I kept the phone. Point मिल गया. Mom के बारे में बात करते हैं. पूरा स्टोरी निकलेगा, कब कब हुआ है, क्या कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स हुए हैं, कैसा रिलेशन रहा है, मॉम का नेचर क्या है, मॉम के कंट्रोल इश्यूज क्या है, सब निकलेगा. अच्छा फिर डैड, फिर खुल जाता है सब कुछ, यू नो. सो वो देना पड़ता है एक पॉइंट. तो
What does a healthy, mentally healthy individual look like?
Secure, I think. Why am I saying secure and no other word? It just came to my mind. Because I think someone with a good self-worth will feel secure. मेरे पास जो है इनफ है, मैं जितना कर रहा हूँ इनफ है, मैं ऐसा हूँ, तुमको लेना है तो लो, नहीं लेना है तो मत लो. Not in an arrogant way, but this is me. I don't want to people please. So I think if you're secure in your own skin, that is one very good sign. If your life is balanced, that could be another sign.
The difference between being secure and being lazy?
I don't think there's anything called laziness, to be honest.
That's very interesting.
A lot of clients tell me, I have a problem of laziness. I'm not motivated. मैं ऐसा ही हूँ. I say नहीं. I ask them, किस बात के लिए lazy हो? Oh, I have to make that resume. What are the demands that you have for making your resume? It should be perfect. It should reflect me. It should cover all the work I've done. These demands are making you lazy. Say, fuck it, my resume is not perfect. I'll sit for 2 hours. I'll finish it. और जैसा होगा, I'll apply it. You will not be lazy.
Wow.
Laziness does not exist. I don't think laziness exists. According to me, it's my theory. I could be wrong, but it's worked so far.
I'm thinking how to respond to that. Laziness does not exist.
I don't think
I'll tell you what happened, and I was discussing this with Mario yesterday. Yesterday night, I was feeling, he had come over, we were setting up the house for the podcast. So I told him that, Mario, I'm feeling so irritated right now. I think in my head, I'm feeling burnt out. I can't believe we have to reset the whole house and do all this crap. And I was just venting. And in my head, I thought, Krishna, you're just being lazy and there's no reason for you to do this. The moment you're saying there's no such thing as laziness, I realized the issue. The issue is that I wanted everything to be done so quickly that at the end of the day, it should be easy to put it all back into place. Now, if I remove that, कि ठीक है यार जैसा है adjust कर देंगे, and over the week we can make the house look okay.
Correct.
I'm okay. Now I'm not lazy.
Your demands, and the demands put pressure on you. Maybe you demanded that construction अभी क्यों आना था. Maybe you had a demand कि अरे मैंने सोचा था ये जो आने वाले हैं वो ये एरिया से ये एरिया आ जाएंगे, अब इनको क्या बोलना पड़ेगा. Maybe you had the demand कि घर में सेटअप ठीक से होगा या नहीं होगा. Maybe you had a demand कि my interns will come from a place or not. Identify what were you demanding, what were you trying to control.
But if laziness doesn't exist, kids, in my mind, kids are lazy. But I have to motivate my daughter to get out of bed, go to karate class,
See,
get
but
out
Krishna,
of bed.
that's I think
So
laziness began there. My picture of laziness is me sprawl out of the bed. I don't want to get up. I just want to sleep more. It's
Am I
your
being a
inability
bad
to
dad
do.
by trying to force my daughter to do something instead of letting her be lazy?
No, but you can always have a conversation. See, what kids, no, we feel lazy when things are hard. Now, she may find that particular class hard, or that activity hard, or not comfortable, outside her comfort zone. So that is what could be her.
That's not a bad
avoidance.
thing. You should try hard
Yeah,
things.
so you're not being a bad dad by pushing her, but there is a way to push. Like it's helping them get in touch with their emotions, asking them what is hard about it, what can make it easier for them, things like that. So it's all about helping them get in touch with their own feelings so that they can also learn taking emotional responsibility from a young age. That would be good parenting. Correct? Like once I had my husband's nephew, he threw my lipstick from the 5th floor. And he fooled his mother saying that I think you have too many lipsticks and so I took one. I said that's not the truth. When he came to my house, I said, Beta, I'm not going to shout at you. But I also was upset when my lipstick went away because that was a gift I gave myself after years of hard work. This is a MAC lipstick. So we come from a upper middle class background. आज भी वो 3,000 का lipstick, we'll ask ourselves, ठीक है कमा रहे, but do you want to spend on that? He's saying, then when I calmed him, he said for fun. I did it for fun. I said, okay, would you like it if I would do it? What was the fun in it? Did you really enjoy it? How sad, for how many days were you sad after your parents found out and they hit you? He said, I was sad for 2 full days. I said, even I was sad for 2 full days. So I had that conversation.
It's powerful.
And of course, I was also angry for some time because it was something I gave myself. The sentimental value was there. I can go and buy another one, but I didn't buy another one because I wanted that one. I bought another shade of another brand, but I didn't buy that one. There was something I lost there. उस चीज का भी grief हो सकता है ना, यहाँ भी emotion trigger हुआ है. Okay, then I also asked myself that why does this child trigger me? ये भी हुआ था because this child is quite mischievous. I realized this child resembles a lot of bullies I didn't have control over. There is one person who multiply tried sexual abuse advances towards me. That person I have not been able to set straight. I had a conversation with him. He denied me saying, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I've never said this on camera, but I don't care. Because I think it's powerful because I know a lot of female clients of mine and even male clients. I think 99% people go through abuse. At least those who have come to me, I have seen that. And I want to say this, that this person, when I told him about the abuse and how I felt about it, he said, I would never mean to hurt you. Let's sit across the table and have a conversation. I said, ek rakh ke dene ka man hota hai. It's like, really? Like multiple advances? Like, really? And
but you had the conversation. What were you expecting? If it's multiple times, then there's something wrong
just
with it.
Acknowledgement, because the dynamic was such that this person also is from the fraternity, is a so-called therapist, and so I did not want to, and the people associated with them also are close to me. So I did not want to defame them in any way. But this particular person, I cannot forgive. So the point I was trying to say is this child reminded me of the trauma of bullies. And I did my writing so that I never give my clients what I don't do. Whatever techniques I give them is what I've done with myself.
Just probing a little bit on this. When you know someone has crossed a line multiple times and he's done it intentionally.
Yeah.
And you realize that you have let it happen and now you're not going to let it happen anymore.
Yeah.
You decided to have a conversation with him. And the person, obviously, he's
Dismissed
done it
it.
intentionally. So he's not going to agree that he's done it.
Yeah.
You had the conversation. What is the correct way to do it? Because the conversation, according to the way you told me the story, the conversation didn't work. You're still angry about it.
Correct.
What should be the right way to approach someone who is intentionally being malicious to you?
Okay, before you answer, maybe I should let you answer first. Did this uncomfortable conversation result in the behaviors you saw stop, or did he just say he didn't know and it continued, right? Because if the conversation results in a freeze, then whether you like it, you like the response or not, I think that is something
That's a good point.
achieved, right?
Yeah, true. So this was when I had distanced myself from him.
Okay.
and so I was not in his physical space, so it didn't continue. Professionally, because of some or the other reason, he came across me when I was working with the others who I said are also in the fraternity. But I gave a very, very cold shoulder, saying loud and clear that do not come anywhere close to me now. And he understood, and then he backed off. So that part happened. I would say it happened not because of the conversation, but because of my behavior that followed that conversation. I think I was also a little bit intimidated by him because of the dynamic, different variables involved, not getting into that. But there was a point when I said, enough. I don't care. And I don't care what people think and what you do. And so then I kind of gave it upfront in my behavior. So even the others, and I did tell the other members involved also about it. But they have some working relationship which will continue, and I'm all right with that. But I have moved myself out of the equation. So this is the boundary ka responsibility. Now, talking about where is the closure, answering your question, I think it's in two parts. Again, responsibility. So this guy basically initially would tell me, I have the answers to your anxiety, whatever, and then try to come close and, use, sex is an amazing way for freedom and all the crappy bullshit. And so I was vulnerable, right? I didn't get help, and I was probably maybe 19, 20 at that time. So like a good 20 years ago. And so in parts, and I was still looking for answers, and another 10 years I didn't have my answers, right? So multiple occasions he had. So part of the closure is in responsibility, in understanding that I was also responsible, knowing I was uncomfortable, did still sort of in hope of that answer for anxiety.
You were 19, 20.
But responsibility does not mean blame. I'm not blaming myself.
Responsibility does not mean blame.
I'm not blaming myself, but I'm taking responsibility for putting myself in the position after it happened more than once. That's 50% work done. Okay. 50% work done, then I do through my own visualizations. I have tried doing my visualizations.
Visualizing how
visualizing
you should
the person,
Correct, got
saying whatever I have to, throwing out all the anger and all of that. I would say that has given me quite a closure. But I don't know if such a scar can completely be healed. That is one. Let's be realistic. Secondly, I want to give myself time and not rush the process of forgiveness. So I'm going to let myself feel what I need to feel in full honesty, full disclosure, till I'm able to overcome it gradually. So I did set my boundaries. I took responsibility. There is a very clear demarcation of, where the person stands. The person exactly knows where he stands in my life now. So on and so forth.
Is forgiveness a natural body reaction, or it's a mentally forced response?
It cannot be forced, but you have to facilitate that process mentally.
So not forced, maybe initiated mentally, or is it naturally just forgiven?
No, you need to initiate it.
You need to
initiate it mentally. I don't know how it can happen naturally through the body, because the body remembers. So you need to really sit with yourself.
So even if you feel like sorry, I'm interrupting. Even if you feel like you've forgiven someone, maybe you've not really, you just have suppressed it and let go.
Yeah, absolutely. Like my husband used to all the time say, I have let go this, I have let go that. I'm like, no, you haven't. And it is there stored in your body, which is showing up as all your gut issues and everything. Now, after talking about whatever is not let go, his health has improved 50% in 1.5 years. It's so powerful. So powerful.
And the way to know things you've not let go is all these triggers we just talked about.
Yeah.
When you get triggered, when you feel a reaction is coming, note it down. This has happened. Why did this happen?
Yeah.
We need to find out.
Or start with simple, just download the feelings wheel. It's available on Google. Every day sit with your feelings के आज दिन में कौन सी 3 feeling इसमें से feel हुई या इसके बाहर भी. Sit with that. बैठो तो सही खुद के साथ. People don't want to sit with themselves. Why do people go from one relationship, rebound, another relationship, then say, oh, again I invited red flag, and then इस पे Instagram पे 1 million के views के reel बनते. क्यों बनते हैं? क्योंकि तुम बैठ ही नहीं रहे हो खुद के साथ. बैठो ना. देखो कि क्या हुआ. तुमको अकेले रहना ही नहीं है, बैठना ही नहीं है. Why am I going for a solo trip? I want to sit with myself. I want to see what surfaces. I want to do writing of all the prompts I've given to myself, to explore themes that I want to. I've written a few questions for myself that, hey, what would you tell your younger self? How do you want to feel when you're 85? What is it that still needs to resolve? Who do you still... So when I went to Ladakh, I asked this question since I went for this 5-week long trip solo, and I'd gone on a one-way ticket. I wanted to stay as long as I wanted to, because my work luckily allows that. I made a list of the people I needed to forgive. And this conversation with that man I had then. And a lot of people took it very well. I had a friend who I briefly dated, and just a few outings, and I asked him, like, I was really interested, and it was after my divorce and all, and you were also interested. Why didn't we take it forward? Why did you keep giving me those signals?
Such a difficult conversation to have.
You know, but I knew I could have it with that friend, and I did. And he's saying, I'm so sorry. I've always been confused about marriage. And I'm not going to share this podcast because I have practically covered all the people who are going to now blacklist me from their number, blacklist my number. So this friend said, Hoori, I was not sure myself about marriage. He's still not married. I was not clear in my career, still is not. I'm sorry, I should have been clear. That is a conversation we should have had. I was not clear to you. I enjoyed what we shared and I did not want to spoil our friendship. And so I'm making it very clear now. We hugged it out. We were so happy we could have that conversation. It gave me such strength in that friendship that मैं तेरे से कुछ भी बात कर सकती हूँ अब. ये बात कर ली तो अभी कुछ भी कर सकती हूँ. I told him I felt I was wrong. I felt you didn't give me a clear picture. I really missed you. I really grieved you. We just went out 5-6 times, but it was such deep friendship, such passion. So, you know, these conversations are important. My sister hated me. And hate is a strong word, but she hated me all her life because she thought I'm mom's favorite. She barely came to my wedding for 15-20 minutes. This wedding. After this OCD podcast that came out, I did with Sid Warrior, she messaged me, I'm so sorry, I didn't know you went through so much. That was the most powerful thing for me that came out from the podcast. Last year, she messaged me, I want to solve things between us, but let's not do it in the city. Let's go out, we'll cry, we'll fight, let's live with each other. I was dreading being with you in the same room. You hated me all your life. I can't be in the same room. My body was trembling when I left home, when I reached Goa, when I was reaching the hotel, when I saw her the first time. All these were trigger memories. याद है ना ये मुझे? क्यों याद है? Emotion सब जगह feel हुआ था. We fought, we cried, we resolved it. We decided we can't be best friends, but we'll be cordial from now on. Now the relationship has improved. Now call आएगा, बच्चों का ऐसा problem है, तू बात कर. मम्मी का health का क्या हुआ? मम्मी का mediclaim का premium भरना है. Now that communication is there. Now after seeing the podcast, she realizes. She could not understand my OCD made me non-responsible. She said, you're not responsible. Mommy gives you in the hand. You're so pampered. You're so spoiled. I said, I could not do it. I was compulsively studying. I could not take house responsibility. So, lot of stories are there.
On that note, I want to get in the last word here. You have had so much thrown at you for the last 20 years and not only have
38 years.
Not only have you maneuvered it so well, you're giving others professional advice and very confidently here. What does it take to be you?
Lots of therapy. I think all my therapists contributed in some way. The homeopath I first went to counseled me in some way. The homeopathy helped. Then my psychiatrist who actually diagnosed me, then my therapist who helped me with OCD. So now I have these special people. I know OCD है तो इसके पास जाना है, ये कुछ है तो इसके पास जाना है. So a lot of therapy, but a lot of inner work. I have been very passionate about working on myself. Still am. Continues. Which is why I say मुझे सब नहीं आता है, मुझे सब नहीं पता है. People think मुझे सब पता है, but I think इतना सारा जानने के लिए है हमारे मन के बारे में, हमारे ट्रॉमास के बारे में, हमारे वेलबींग के बारे में कि आई थिंक 7 lives भी कम पड़ेंगे. सो अ लॉट ऑफ थेरेपी, अ लॉट ऑफ इनर वर्क एंड that has made me. I've been through, like I've seen my sister get widowed at 25. She married at 18. At 18 I was left with parents. एक OCD डायग्नोज नहीं है, एक फादर है जो एंग्री है, बार बार बिजनेस ट्रिप पे चले जाते हैं. स्कूल जाती हूँ तो पता नहीं घर आके मम्मी क्या कर रहे होंगे. मम्मी यूज्ड टू क्राई लाइक ऊपर 2 माले तक सुनाई देता था, इतना जोर जोर से रोना. डिवोर्स, रीमैरिज, OCD struggle, losing my father to cancer, twice seeing his cancer. So it's been a full roller coaster. After my remarriage, this 1.5 year has brought peace. In this 1.5 year, I learned to drive. I'm learning to swim. Me and my husband go for swimming lessons since the last 3 months. I learned to ride the scooty. I am continuing my solo trips. Work has, God's grace, grown. So to be me, lots and lots of inner work. No running away from inner work. if I could put it in one line. But apart from that, of course, good friendships, extended family, good mentors, good teachers. Blessed to have good teachers. Have an amazing big joint family, lovely aunts and uncles who substituted as parents at various phases of life. Amazing teachers. I could go and tell my professors in Jai Hind, I'm going through something. Amazing bosses also. I work with Dr. Zirak Makar at Aditya Birla. He's a child psychiatrist, amazing at what he does. Learned a lot from him at the job. Taught at Jai Hind, learned a lot from the students. So, funny part, OCD was studying, तो study life तो enjoy नहीं किया. कॉलेज में आई वॉज अ स्टूडेंट काउंसलर, तब तक ओसीडी काफ़ी बेटर हो गया था. फुल कॉलेज लाइफ एंजॉय किया. सो लाइफ केम बैक फुल सर्कल. आई यूज्ड टू बी इनवाइटेड काउंसलर ना, दैट वाज वेरी फेवरेट, क्योंकि आई वाज रिपोर्टिंग टू द सीईओ. तो सब थोड़ा डरते भी थे कि एसवीकेएम के सीईओ को रिपोर्ट करती है. सो एज अ काउंसलर एट एसवीकेएम एट माई ऑफिस इन मिठीबाई, I was managing 5 colleges alone. I would go to every class and propagate mental health. Students didn't know there was a counselor before me for 8 years. So, can you not manage 8,000 students alone?
Yeah.
And that was crazy. That was fun. Looked forward to that job like anything. Had to obviously move out because you have to grow in life. But otherwise, it was like the best job. So, I think a lot of all of this helped. Good jobs, good colleagues who are my day family. In the bad first marriage, I would go with swollen eyes to work and my colleagues would cover up. And they would help me till I settled, take up my clients, then I would go to my clients. You know, so things like that. When I was reporting to the SVKM CEO, he had full trust. He said, I'm not happy with the work previous therapists have been doing. Over to you. I said, sir, don't wait for my, what you call the feedback, the increment day to tell me about my work. Give me feedback anytime, just give me a call. I would report every month. I started making a monthly report. I went to so many classes. These are the workshops I held. This is what the student feedback was. These are the pictures from the workshop. These are the amount of students who came to me. Of course, maintaining confidentiality. So, it's been a beautiful journey. Jitna we are focusing on the negative, utna hi positive. Amazing teachers. I had a 90-year-old maths and science teacher. Can you believe? We used to talk about independence and history more than maths and science. I was very bad in maths, barely passing. I probably have dyscalculia. So, this sir used to write me letters to motivate me. Hoori, I see you going to Mumbai University's Rajabai Tower and making your name. I felt so bad because of OCD when I had to drop out. I felt like I let him down. So, amazing teachers. I would not go to any teacher after he died. And then the next teacher my mom found, just 5 years elder to me, she became my friend. She's still my friend. Today my nephew is studying with her. It's been such a long legacy. 20 years. All my brothers, sisters, nieces, nephews, they all studied. So, amazing teachers, extended family. I have been blessed. My husband's side also is a very big family. When I got remarried, we said we'll do a chota marriage, only 100 people. But 100 people to his family only, 50-50. I didn't call any friends. Just 1 or 2 best friends, that's it. He called some. So now life is changing. I've healed, I'm healing, I'm still healing. Like I spoke about the abuse, I'm still healing. I'm learning, I'm very open, I'm very vocal about my issues and about my strengths. Yesterday someone said, ma'am, you should be a life coach. I said, why, what happened? Ma'am, you said that driving karo, swimming karo. My other previous therapist had just such a narrow approach. She would therapize me कि बस यही एक therapy जो वो कराती है वही important है. I said, बेटा, a lot of clients call me the Dear Zindagi का शाहरुख खान. Because they're like, आप हो ही नहीं, मतलब आप एकदम, इसीलिए मुझे ये real ना perfection नहीं जमता है. I'm candid, I'm bindas, I'm filmy, I'm hopelessly romantic. I am all of this. So that is what makes me me. I think I'm more heart. So my psychiatrist taught me one thing. He said, Hoori, you're like a child who's wild and loves nature, and you become like this different person in nature. And you're like this fearful child which OCD takes over. The more you tap onto that, this part will become lesser. So that was also a great revelation for me. And hence I keep taking these nature dips. 5 days of Bombay. You said no, there are no ambiverts when it comes to Bombay. I am. I love Bombay. India mein either I can live in Bombay or the mountains. So 5वें दिन पे 6ठे दिन पे last Sunday I took my niece nephew for a 7-hour drive. They said, Masi, after marriage you're not spending time with us alone. Why? There is a +1 always. We want time with you. I said, okay beta, let's go for a drive. So 7 hours into nature, heavy rains. it's important for 2 reasons. Bonding, serotonin in nature, giving the children confidence that Masi is there. They've lost their father. They've seen a single parent struggling with both the children. So they've seen a nani who is not very strong. Anxiety. Masi is there. Masi can drive. पांडु ने पकड़ा, पांडु को कैसे हैंडल किया देखा ना तुमने, ग्रेट, सीखो, डरो मत, ये होते रहेगा लाइफ में, सीखो. सो ट्रेनिंग देम दैट वे. सो पेरेंटिंग यही सब है. अपने तो मैं करने वाली नहीं हूँ, तो यही सब बच्चे हैं जो मुझे ऐसा लगता है मैं 20 साल डालूँ एक बच्चे में, इससे अच्छा जो लोग इतना मेरा टाइम रोज चाहते हैं मैं उनको दूँ. सो वही कर रही हूँ. अभी मुझे इतना डर लग रहा है, पता है, मैसेज आएगा गिव मी अपॉइंटमेंट नहीं है मेरे पास अभी 31 तक, बिकॉज मैं जा रही हूँ 1 हफ्ता. अभी मुझे डर लग रहा है, मत पूछना.
There are so few people in the world, me included, who if someone asks me the question, what does it take to be me? I don't know, man. And we ask you the question, you've given a 10-minute monologue just on that.
I mean,
that is a fantastic way to end this podcast, because that shows how much time you've spent on thinking about various aspects of our life, which at least I take for granted. And I think that's there are quite a few things, and this might be one of the best podcasts we've ever, maybe recency bias, but this might be one of the best episodes we've recorded, and I hope it's been useful for a lot of you. And obviously this is Hoori Shah. You can Google her. She's not available this month because
August
anyway, this episode is not coming out this month, so by the time this comes out, you should be able to reach out to her.
And please expect a 1 week waiting for the first session. After that, we become regular.
Sun liya na?
On Instagram, I'm Happiness with Hoori.
I'm pretty sure, with about 99% confidence, I can say that this is not going to be the last time you're on the show, because Mario has at least 15 more questions in his head. I can see it. I'm getting questions from my team here. They're all sending me questions during the break saying, ask this, ask that. Wow. So clearly there is a demand for this. This is the longest podcast we've recorded.
I think look at the time.
We started, I'm so sorry.
People time dekh ke shayad podcast na dekhe, itna lamba hai.
No, but I think this one we should spend some time on some more reels on this one for sure. So we'll play some extra, and thoda we should get some more reels on this one done.
I think we should have a group hug. It's been so intimate and so vulnerable for me also. It takes some courage to be vulnerable. I wouldn't say it's the easiest thing to talk about abuse, OCD, marriage, divorce. So many things come up. So, now this is important. Emotions have surfaced. I have to give myself some settling time after this, because this comes with experience. I will not now go into a dinner and start talking to my husband. I'll give myself some time.
Yeah.
Settle in, So thank you so much.
Thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed the show. Yeah.
I loved it. I loved being here.
We've never applauded after a show. We'll do it this time.
We'll do it, yeah.
This was a good one.
Thank you.
See you soon.
See you soon.